My name is Rachael Reynolds, and I work for Healthy Communities of the Capital Area for their main SNAP Ed program. And I wanted to come on and do a video for you with a lunchtime recipe. This is actually one of my many favorites. It's a tuna and white bean recipe. Okay, and for the recipe, you're going to need a lemon, 2 green onions, a can of tuna packed in water, a can of reduced salt, cannellini or some type of white bean, right? And then a tablespoon of canola or vegetable oil, and a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And then for seasonings, just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. I also like to add in a little bit of celery seed and a little bit of dried dill as well. So before I got started, of course, I washed my hands really well, and I also made sure that I washed the lids of my cans before I opened them, and I washed my scallions and my lemon as well. Okay, so what I've done is I took the beans and I drained and rinsed them in the sink in a colander, and I've added them into a bowl. And just using a fork, I have mashed them up really, really well. You want them to be really, well mashed up and not really have a lot of whole beans left in there. Okay. I've also drained off the water from my tuna. So I'm going to add my tuna into the beans. And then I took my cheese grater and I've taken the zest off of my lemon. You want to do that before you cut and juice the lemon. It just makes it a lot easier all the way around. Okay, so now I'm just cutting my lemon in half. And I'm going to just use a separate bowl so that I can squeeze the juice out of it, and that way if I do have any seeds that fall into the bowl, I can easily pick those out and not have them get mixed in with the beans and the tuna. If you don't happen to have a lemon on hand, that's okay. If you have just some lemon juice in a container, or any kind of citrus really, even if you just have like a small clementine or an orange, grapefruit, whatever you have on hand, that would give you the acidity that you're looking for from the lemon. Okay, so I did have one stray seed that I'm fishing out of my juice. I'm just going to add that right into the tuna and the beans. Okay. I already cut up a couple of scallions, and I have them in the bowl with the salt and pepper and the celery seed and the dill. Get those all in there. And then last but not least, I have the Dijon mustard, I have the lemon zest, and I have a tablespoon of the vegetable canola oil. There we go. So all I really have left to do is just give this a really good mix, make sure everything is well incorporated together, and that all of the tuna and the beans get some of the seasoning and the mustard and the oil and the lemon juice. Now this recipe happens to come from Cooking Matters, and it's something that I've been making for quite a long time. And initially when I first came across it, I thought it sounded very, very strange to mix in beans with tuna. But what I realized was that when you mash up the beans and you mix it in with the tuna, the beans are very neutral in flavor, and they actually take on the flavor of the tuna. So when you put them into a salad or onto a sandwich, you really cannot tell that there are beans in it. It just seems like it is a nice creamy tuna salad. Okay, so that looks great. In the recipe on cookingmatters.org, they do this as a tuna boat. So they would take a couple of cucumbers and cut them in half lengthwise, and then use a spoon to scrape out the seeds, and then fill the tuna boats with the tuna mixture and serve them as they are, like that. I didn't happen to have any cucumbers, so I'm going to have mine on some nice whole grain bread. Okay. So hopefully you can see it all right. It just looks like tuna salad, and hopefully you won't even be able to tell the difference. One of the reasons I really like this recipe is because tuna nowadays is a little bit expensive, and when you take the 16-ounce can of beans and mix it in with the tuna, you're basically turning what could be 2 tuna fish sandwiches into 5 or 6 tuna fish sandwiches, and at a much lower cost. So it really helps you kind of stretch that out and get everybody a good satisfying lunch. The other really good thing about this is, in terms of our little My Plate, okay, it's really loaded with protein. So if you were to divide this even into 4 servings, as the tuna boat recipe calls for, you would actually get 19 grams of protein in each serving, which is a lot of bang for your buck right there. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this recipe, and if you're looking for more great, healthy, inexpensive recipes, you can visit mainsnap-ed.org or cookingmatters.org to find more ideas on what to do for healthy lunches and dinners and breakfasts and snacks. I hope you have a great day, and thank you.